You're watching BBC News School Report.
Here at Cardinal Newman Catholic School, we are excited by the news that the beach just down the road in Brighton will play a key role in next year's Olympic Games.
It's going to be a training centre for a sport that's getting more and more popular, beach volleyball.
Our school reporters have been looking at what it means for the Brighton area.
Marvellous.
We are here on location at Yellowwave Beach Volleyball Court in Brighton, and we want to find out how having Olympic teams in Brighton can inspire sportsmen and women of the future. So what specialist equipment do you have to enable you to become an official training camp?
Well, we've got special sand that has been tested in Canada and is of Olympic standard, and that's actually called Yellowwave sand now. Also the nets, we can adjust the height so we can make sure they're the correct heights for volleyball, and men and women's games both have different height nets so we can adjust them accordingly. We also have the lines that you'll be able to see. They're blue, so they contrast with the sand, and we've measured those so they're exactly right. And then if teams do come to train here in the run up to the Olympics, we can add antennae to the nets because that's an Olympic requirement, and we can change the setup of the venue. So for an Olympic game, teams need a really big runoff. So we can change the setup so that it's an Olympic standard court.
Okay. The coffee shop here sounds really busy, but how will the Olympics affect the local economy?
Well, if teams do come to train here, they will want to stay in Brighton, so they'll be using the local hotels, they'll want to use gyms and things to train in, they'll also be buying food here and wanting to have things like sports massage, so there'll be a whole range of things that they'll want to be taking part in Brighton, which will hopefully have a small impact on the local economy.
So there we have it. You can see how the Olympics, which is already only 500 days away, can benefit all of us on a local scale. The legacy is bound to last years into the future and will hopefully encourage people our age to take up new sports.
So do you think this is a good thing for Brighton?
I can't think of any negatives in my head at all about why this wouldn't be good for Brighton. I mean, in terms of sponsorship, in terms of other businesses picking up from, you know, is it the Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah, from training here. I mean, it's got to be good.
This is Malin.
Mail, Shahrazad, Joanna.
Reporting for BBC News School Report.
Well, it's not just beach volleyball that's been grabbing our attention. We've also got our own Olympic medal winner right here at our school, Charlie.
In last year's school report, Charlie told us about his success as a junior Olympic runner. Let's catch up with his progress since then.
Well, in the track season, I won the English Schools 1500 metre championships, and I set a new personal championship best performance there. And then I got selected to run for Great Britain at the European Youth Olympic Trials, and I came second there, and that qualified me to run in Singapore at the World Youth Olympics against all the African nations, and it was really good to compete against them to see how I match up against all the other countries, and this is my bronze medal here. Well, the track season this year, I've got the European Juniors in Estonia. I'll be competing against people that are a couple of years older than me, but I still hope to qualify because I think they can take 3 people in each event. So I've got the trials for that in June, and then the following years, 2012, and obviously every athlete would dream to be there, and at the moment it's more than a dream than a goal, but if I keep training hard and see how this year goes, then hopefully I'll definitely be at the trials and see what happens.
Now, teachers are always telling off children in the classroom and writing them bad reports.
But what about when teachers themselves were kids? Were they angels or devils in the classroom?
We asked some of our teachers here at Cardinal Newman about their best and worst school reports.
They write them, we read them, but do our teachers remember what their school report said when they were students like us?
I used to get good reports in what was first year, second year. I always got good reports. I worked very hard, I was a good girl. Then when I hit the 3rd year, which is now year 9, things went a little bit downhill. I became quite teenage. But the reports that were always good were for English, which is probably why I'm an English teacher now. But when all the other teachers Work more and talk less. Tamsin distracts other students. I wish Tamsin wasn't in my class, or words to that effect. I always got good reports for English, which said I was a mature, intelligent, sensitive girl. So I remember those ones.
I think my worst report and my best report were both actually from the same teacher, who was my history teacher, which is actually the subject I teach now. I think in year 7, I got a report something along the lines of, this student is amazing and is going to be so brilliant for the rest of the school and I can't wait to carry on teaching him. And then I think when I got to year 12, I think it said something just like, needs to shut up and stop arguing, basically.
We didn't really have reports like you have now, where you get each teacher writing a fairly lengthy comment about you and where you are. All our reports were at the very end of the school year, and it was sort of on an A4 sheet, and the teachers would give you a percentage mark, so you do an end of year exam and you get a figure score, and then when you got the years 10 and 11 and the sixth form, that percentage would translate to the grade that you were currently working on. So you that's kind of like where we are with you. But there was no real space for comments, so so your French teacher, for instance, would write, John Stone, 85%, translates to grade A, excellent work, and then it would be passed on to your history teacher and so on, and that's how they did reports in my day. Okay?
Okay, best report for me was Mrs. Graper. Whilst I was in year 11 at school, I had to do a lot of coursework. It was all down at a D mark, basically through being lazy. And eventually I think I had to write 7 copies of something, a stupid amount of work to do to get to a different grade. And I did it. I did these 7 pieces of coursework, and then after my final examination got an A in my English. So yeah, that was the best report, but I can just remember Mrs. Graper saying to me, look, you've just got to sort it out. I was quite grumpy and a bit of a funny teenager, so to speak. And my worst reports were, they were not the best reports really, so a lot of them were quite bad, up until about when I was 15 really. Not a lot of attention in lessons, not much homework done, but somehow I got through school and got 9 GCSEs C to A, so yeah, I did do some work eventually.
And that's it for BBC News.
I'm Ewan.
And I'm Kitty.
Thanks for watching.
And goodbye.